Wrap it up, it's over. And if you're a team not named Galatasaray who will be competing in the Turkish league next year, well, you're going to lose. Because on a random Wednesday afternoon, Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Galatasaray meets Napoli's €75 million price tag to sign a 26-year-old Victor Oshimen for 3 more years. I'm sorry, but what? That doesn't even make sense. These guys just got Leroy Sane on a free transfer last week, and I already know his wages are going to be hefty on the books. But this is borderline ridiculous. Where the hell did Galatasaray get €75 million from? Like seriously, what is the fun in this anymore? I mean, they just smashed their own transfer record and the Turkish league transfer record, which was previously €20 million on En-Nesyri by Fenerbahce just last season. Now you might be asking, how did Galatasaray get this money? And I might be able to give you some sort of explanation. First off, the €75 million will be paid throughout 5 years in installments instead of one big lump sum fee, which is the reason why Napoli still have the option to say no to this bid. Because his release clause requires the €75 million to be paid upfront. Secondly, Galatasaray's revenue are surprisingly solid, as they have qualified for this year's Champions League, have found immense domestic success coming off of a 3-peat, and have also won the Turkish Cup this season. Also, Galatasaray are genuinely one of the biggest clubs in the world when it comes to a spectator viewpoint. The club boasts over 40 million fans worldwide and is widely the most supported club in Turkey, a country with over 80 million people. Their merchandising is insanely successful despite the lacking Turkish economy, generating the 9th most revenue of any club in the world. And combine that with the fact that the Turkish government bails out the top 4 clubs of the nation, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, and Trabzonspor all the time, letting clubs have their debts forgiven and otherwise operate very poorly in a financial sense, where the clubs are over-leveraged to the point where if any of these teams played in a competent country like Italy, Spain, or England, they would be put under financial scrutiny and most likely relegated. But in this case, you just have the perfect storm to where a club like Galatasaray, who haven't had any notable success in Europe since the early 2010s, can spend €75 million on one player. Like, think about this for a second. 2 years ago, Galatasaray would lose in the playoff round of the Europa League, finishing 3rd in their Champions League group with Bayern, Copenhagen, and Manchester United, to last season losing in the first knockout round in the Europa League to AZ Alkmaar, to now buying Leroy Sane, Oshimen, and have Mario Icardi coming back from his ACL injury. I seriously don't know what other club in the world has the luxury that Galatasaray has. And this goes without saying, mentioning Oshimen's high wages, which they're going to be astronomical. I mean, there's a reason why you haven't heard of many of Europe's elite clubs head for him, despite the fact that strikers are very hard to come by right now, especially world-class ones such as the Nigerian international. I mean, the guy's going to be earning over $300,000 a week easily, so that's why a lot of these Premier League clubs are stepping away. And he still wants to play in Europe because he's rejected the Saudis multiple times. Galatasaray are the best of both worlds when it comes to him. I mean, he's going to get a very hefty salary that most European top dogs will not want to shell out for him. Not as big as the Saudis, but at least Galatasaray regularly play in the Champions League as well. He will be in Istanbul, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, most likely going to dominate domestically because, let's be real, he was top scorer last season and will most likely be top scorer in every season he plays in, all while playing for the club with one of the most passionate fan bases in the world. I mean, what more can the guy ask for? The fans literally adore this guy. So yeah, this ruins the competitiveness of the Turkish league even more, and I made a video that Galatasaray are becoming the Turkish Bayern, and people were in the comments hating on me and trolling on me like, bro, if you don't see the writing on the wall, you're insane. As Galatasaray have just earned their 25th league title, they have now opened the gap to 6 titles, separating second place Fenerbahce, who have won the league just 19 times. That goes without saying that Fenerbahce haven't seen the Champions League football since 2008, and Besiktas are in financial trouble like always and have 16 titles. They're falling behind heavily. But since we're on the topic of other teams in this league, this makes me even more confused. Let's start off with Fenerbahce, who have made massive headlines as they have just brought in John Duran from Al Nassr in a move that is honestly just as surprising as this Oshimen deal. I mean, the 21-year-old would leave Aston Villa for over £80 million to join Al Nassr and just 6 months after join Fenerbahce on loan for a season? What? This guy's literally playing his career in reverse. He's already played in the MLS, went to Saudi, and now the Turkish league. My brother is connecting these retirement league paychecks like they are infinity stones. Fenerbahce will cover his whole wage bill, but I just don't understand what Al Nassr are thinking. I mean, they just got this guy 6 months ago and let him go for a loan deal? And Fenerbahce, I don't know what they're cooking. They just spent 20 million euros on a striker just last season. I feel like there were other positions on the pitch where that money could have been used. I'm thinking maybe like that midfield, because Fred is kind of injury prone. He's actually great, and getting rid of Mert Hakan Yandaş's spot in the side because he isn't that good in my opinion to even have a role in the squad. Fenerbahce are also spending like there's no tomorrow, but what's confusing me the most is they don't have Champions League football guaranteed, so how are they doing this with no league success or European success? I know they have a rich president, but I'm not so convinced. But fine, I get it, they're the second biggest club, they're also in the top 15 for merchandising worldwide, and also have over 20 million fans. But Besiktas? Oh boy. Besiktas has to be the most poorly ran club I've ever seen these past few seasons. With their presidents resigning left and right, I remember one spokesman last year said that all they had left in the bank was 10 million Turkish lira. No, not 10 million euros, they had 10 million lira. So please explain to me where you found the money to make yet another record-breaking purchase for your club and bring in Tammy Abraham for 13 million euros. This is just after last season where you broke your transfer record twice to bring in Mucci and Al Maserati, spending just about 40 million euros on these three players alone. Besiktas is over-leveraged to the moon. I mean, FFP just doesn't have an effect on these guys nowadays, I guess. I don't know where they pulled the money from because it just doesn't make sense. Letting go of Immobile just after one season is nuts. Rafa Silva is already one of the most highest wages in the league. This team has no clear plan or direction, and Ole's at the wheel trying to figure it out all up, but man, I just can't see this ending well. The bottom line is this: the Turkish league is once again making transfers that I know and everyone else knows they simply can't afford. But instead of pouring these millions into their footballing academies, they go out and buy these stars as band-aid solutions. Like John Duran for a one-year loan or Tammy Abraham, which really isn't going to push the needle anywhere. For Galatasaray's case, fine, maybe I could justify it as global branding for Oshimen's case, but even then, I would not spend 75 million euros just to win the Turkish league because I know damn well these teams are going to underperform in Europe once again, just like they do every year. But I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Is Galatasaray making the right move with this Oshimen purchase? Is John Duran a certified bag chaser? Yeah, he is. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.